Here we go. It is 3:30 Central Standard Time, and that means it's also time for Read This Now. And as is the case when typically when either Jen Lagarde, my amazing friend and co-host, or myself, when we're not able to connect because we're doing something somewhere, we always try to bring in a special guest host. So I want to warn you, we have a special guest host today, making this the most momentous episode ever. I'm going to bring that guest host on, and you're just not going to believe it because I can't believe it. I'm so excited. So here we go. Through the wonders of technology, it's happening. These people, I'm assuming everyone right now in Facebook land is drum rolling. So, Dusty, how you doing?
Oh, hi. Good. How are you? Wait, I've got my headset on. Can you hear me?
You sound great. Yep. And the reason we do headsets, as I've learned and people can attest to over time, is if you don't have the earbuds in, somehow you'll hear me out your microphone, but then it feeds back to me and it gets all crazy. But just by having the earbuds in, it makes it a little better. So.
I can't hear you on my earbuds though.
Oh, you
I can
can't?
only hear you out.
Oh, that's
Oh,
really weird. I don't know. Let's just go
I
with
have
it.
Bluetooth. Maybe that's the problem.
That could be the
But
problem.
you sound fine. You sound fine to me.
Okay, so we're gonna go with it and hope it works out because this is super crazy awesome. So here, for anyone who has been living under a rock or a cactus the last few years, Dusty Bowling, who doesn't, I don't know why I'm doing this. You don't need an introduction, but I'm doing it because it's so awesome, and I'll never have the chance to introduce you again. But Dusty Bowling wrote one of my favorite books, and also one of my own children at home's favorite books. And the book, or we probably have multiple copies in our media center, but they're always checked out. We don't have enough. But Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. That was you. You did that.
Yeah.
And now you're here talking to us on Read This Now. So my book talk today isn't that book because I'm assuming I book talked that on a previous show. But I thought, and I don't know why I do this to myself, I'm actually going to book talk your new book with you in front of me, which makes me all kinds of nervous. But because I love your book so much, I'm just going to let the passion kind of fill the space, and then you can critique me and correct me when I'm done. And then if we're lucky, maybe you can share a book that you love or have read recently. Sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, I'm stalling because I'm a little nervous, but here I go. So, Momentous Events in the Life of a Cactus comes out in September-ish. Does that sound about right?
Yep. September 17th.
Awesome. So I haven't messed it up yet. I'm feeling really good about that. And this story, so I'm sitting at home and I finished it this weekend, and I'm sitting there like having this moment to myself because it's different. And this was just my take, Dusty. It was a teeny bit different than I expected because I think I was expecting some huge overarching mystery or adventure that maybe could or couldn't happen in real life. But really what happened was I was thrust into my own life and high school experience through Avon, the amazing main character of the story, to the point where it reminded me of the TV show This Is Us. Have you ever watched This Is Us?
I haven't. I know
Okay.
a lot of people who do that.
It is incredible. That's like one of the highest compliments I can give. So anytime I mention This Is Us, just know it's nothing but good things. But it's just so authentically intertwined into the life of high school, where you're cheering these kids on, and some of them you're not cheering on because you really want them to get detention and not, not hurt other people and stuff like that. But to the point where it had, over the course of the book and getting to know the characters even better, honestly, and not many books do this. A lot of books entertain and they kind of are a neat escape, but this is one of those rare books that had me, and I'm assuming it'll have readers in September, looking at themselves differently and really wanting to be better people. Because there are times in my life where I probably have done things either subconsciously or overtly that hurt other people, and this book helps. Here's the main thing, Dusty. Everyone, I'm assuming, there are times in your life where you feel, whether it's through feedback you get or a life event that jarred you, you kind of get a little bit further away from yourself. And you might start to believe the noise or what a critic or someone who did something dumb and mean did to you. I mean, that can happen to us too. So I felt that connection on that level, not just the high school experience, but as a human being who from time to time can have his confidence shaken or listen to feedback that's less than helpful. this book had me kind of put a stake in the ground, like, Brad, stay true to yourself, and don't forget to see yourself and be yourself. So did you plan any of that, Dusty? Is that one of the things that you're hoping to achieve?
Yeah, I think, staying true to yourself is definitely a theme throughout the book. And also, I wanted to show a different side to Avon in that, yeah, I mean, everyone can get their confidence tripped up, and even we can lash out at people no matter, who we are. I think everyone can become more negative, and we have our ups and downs. And
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted it to be realistic in that sense that, she's having a hard time and she's not quite acting like herself, but, she
Mm-hmm.
can find herself again.
Yep, and I've seen that happen to myself and friends too, and that's one of the reasons I loved. I got to show the cover here. I know it's backwards, but people can make sense of it.
I love the cover.
It is so
I'm very
awesome.
happy with it.
It's incredible. There's nothing like real life or realistic fiction. I mean, you did such an artful job capturing the magic and the intricacies and the nuances and the challenges and the emotions of real life, the highs and the lows, in a way that just resonates. So I'm going to read one paragraph that really stuck out, if that's okay, and then we'll dive into your book talk in a second. So
Okay.
this is a little bit later in the book, and it hits upon what I was sharing, like one of the things that really resonated. And Avon's talking, and she just says, and I keep getting farther and farther away from myself, like I'm up in a plane and I'm trying to find myself down on earth, but I'm just a little speck I can't even see. And I'm like, hey, Avon, it's me, but I'm a tiny speck, so I don't know if I can see myself. And that will make more sense as people read and fall in love or re-fall in love with Avon and her journey. But it was one of several that I underlined and starred and post-it noted. So thank you. Jen Lagarde always reminds me to say this, but people, you've got to read this now or read this in September when it comes out.
In September.
I have a feeling it will fly off the shelves and the Amazon shelves. So Cactus Nation, mark your calendars. Don't delay. This is going to be one that your kids will really fall in love with. And people always tell me to try to guess age ranges, and I confess I'm not very good at kind of pinpointing age ranges. So you are my safe out today, Dusty. What's a good age range who should be checking this book out?
Well, even though it takes place in ninth grade, so it's technically high school, I still think it's very appropriate for kids even as young as 8 if they're, avid readers. But, I'd say 10 and up for the most part, but definitely, younger readers can pick it up as well. I have a 7-year-old and she reads all my books. So, it just depends on what they want to take on. But it's definitely appropriate for younger readers.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then I was reading online, it might have been in the Facebook, the Cactus Facebook group, but someone said that oftentimes younger readers, they actually like reading about high school kids and aspiring to that, especially when the content is appropriate and accessible to them. So I think you crushed that one. You hit that one out of the park. So thank you, Dusty.
Hey, thank you.
So this
welcome.
is like a dream question of mine. What do authors like to read? Do you have time to read?
Yeah, I do read. I have to read. I have to, if I'm not reading, then my writing, I think, will suffer. So I have read some really great books. I've read some, sort of older books. Like I read El Defo for the first time the other day while I was in between school presentations, and I absolutely loved it. I love graphic novels, so that was really fantastic. I can't believe I'd never read it before. I just inhaled it. And New Kid, the new book, it's a new graphic novel that just came out, is really fantastic. I got an ARC when I was at a conference somewhere not that long ago, and that one I highly recommend. Really, really great. I also Petro Roy's book, Good Enough, that just came out. I think it was last Tuesday, is really, really excellent. It's about a girl with anorexia, and I actually blurbed it, and I just thought her writing was so beautiful, and she herself has experience with anorexia, and so it's, on voices, and it's really authentic and just really gorgeous. So I highly recommend that. And I read Inside Out and Back Again for the first time like a month ago, and that book is still with me. I've been reading a lot of books in verse, so that was just beautiful. So I've been reading some older ones and some newer ones that just came out, and just so many great books. And I've been sort of on an adult book kick though lately. So
I had that happen.
Much.
I had that happen to me too, and it turned into this 4-book series of 600 pages per book, and it just took me away from a lot of young adult or kid lit, which was good because it was awesome. But then I had to break away, and intentionally, I'm not going to book 5 yet in the adult series because I got to get back to my roots here. So.
Yeah. Oh, my daughter just walked out. I tried to find a place in the house where I could have peace and quiet, but it didn't work out.
Sure. No, any
Yeah,
tarantulas crawling around that we have to worry about on camera?
they're in the next
Yeah,
room,
okay.
but not, they're in their terrariums right now. I'm
Cool.
about to break one out though.
Okay, then that's my cue to go. So Dusty, can't thank you enough. I love the fact that you kind of book dropped like 3 different ones, spoken like a true author and avid reader. And I'll just say, final, it's not really a plug when it's coming from the heart. So final from the heart message, the conversation and the humor. I mean, I swear as I was reading this, it's the tone and the vibe of conversations that occur in my house. I'm assuming you have some great conversations in your house. So just really artful dialogue, Dusty. You just crushed this one. You exceeded expectations, and the bar was already really high with the first Cactus book. So congratulations. I can't wait for this to totally blow up in the world.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here. All right, people, read this now and read all the books Dusty just suggested, and we'll see you next Tuesday. All right. Take care, Dusty. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.